All right, so from here, we are just going to go based off of our photo, and we're going to go square by square. So when I'm looking at my photo in square 1A, there is nothing. I have also labeled my paper to match, so I've got 1 through 8 across the top, and I have A through K down here along the side. So when I refer to different squares by A2, A4, C3, whatever, that's what I'm referring to. The labeling on my photo and my grid match. So there's nothing in box 1A or in box A2, but in box 3A, there is about halfway up, and it comes down to about 3/4 of the way over. I'm just going to draw lightly because things will change later on. And then there's a little swoop there in the corner. Then to the next box, coming from here, goes about 2/3 of the way over. And then it comes down to about here. And then there's a shadow that I could draw in here as well. It comes from the corner. And that will just kind of help when you're doing your other work. And then back, if I look back in 3, there is, it depends on how detailed you want to get. There is like a little part here where if I'm drawing the hair, just kind of gets a little bit lighter. And then there's back in 4. That kind of comes up to here, and then it kind of breaks up part of the hair. You can just kind of draw what you see. Okay, so again, I'm just drawing what I see in each box, and then I'll move on. I find it easiest, if you have trouble following along, is to skip around. So if I go to box E5, so 5E, which is this box, that is where I have a large hard shape of my nostril. So for that, it's going to come about 3/4. Again, I'm just checking that I'm still in E5. And it's going to come to about here. And it's going to angle up to about 2/3 of the way up. And then it's going to kind of come over to here. And then there's like the shadow part that kind of comes there. And that's all that's there. That is just the inside of my nose. Okay. Then from this side, it comes in not quite the halfway, probably to about there, and kind of angles up mostly there. And about halfway, there's like a little shadow line that kind of happens in that area. And this can be kind of sketchy. It doesn't have to be perfect. This one over here, about to there. Then a little less than halfway and about 3/4 of the way up. And then there's not really a hard line for the underside of the nostril. But if I come up to the top, a little less than halfway, as long as each square is about right and you have the right information in each square, you can always kind of go back and fix stuff later on. So I'm just trying to get the gist of where things are. This, I think, actually comes down a little bit more. And this is like a shadow shape that I'm drawing in here. Okay, I'm not worrying about the shading right now. I'm just trying to get in the basic shapes. Okay, you're going to continue that through the entire thing. So I've got all the basic parts kind of mapped out. You can see here that those initial marks I was making, I messed up. And I could kind of feel that was happening, so that's why I went ahead and switched to a different spot that was a little bit more concrete, something that was easier to see and view, and then I moved on. So now that I have everything else in, now I can go back up and kind of start to kind of work the hair. The hair was helping kind of frame the face on this side, so that's why I didn't worry too much about that. But now I'm just going to go in from over here, because now I know where this shadow comes. Okay, so now that I have all of the basic lines in, okay, now that's when I can start going in and doing my shading. Before you go and do your shading, it's at this point that you should either go and erase all of your lines, all of your grid lines, I mean, or go in and at least erase lines in the squares that you are going to be working in before you start them. So for me, I will probably go and erase all of my grid lines now, and then go in and do the shading. I'll show you a couple progress shots as we go, but then that's basically how you do a distorted grid portrait. Let me know if you need help.